Hello and welcome to this PanelPilotACE tutorial video. Today I'll be talking you through the trend graph element which has been added to the new beta software. So if you haven't already seen it, this video follows on very closely to the data logging video. In fact, I'll be continuing from the project we designed in that video, so either go back and have a watch, or if you're pretty confident with your data logging stuff, then just download the data logging project we did in the last video from our website, and you'll just be able to carry on straight away from that. So to get started, the first thing I'm going to do is make some space for our trend graph. So I'm just going to move this up to the top of the screen. There we go, that was nice and easy. So over here in our visual elements, we've got our trend graph element, which, may I say, looks very nice. Okay, so what am I going to do with it? Let's set you up to take up a bit more of the screen, a bit cramped at the moment. Give it a bit more height. There you go. Let's just align it horizontally with the screen. There we go. There's our nice trend graph element. Okay, so first thing I'll do is I'll take you through some of the properties we have here. So the first and foremost, probably the most important, is the data logging property. So this needs to point to a local logging variable. So you'll see, a local functional element for logging. Our logging power element is the one we're going to use here, which links to our log_power variable. Okay, so I've set that up. If we come back to our trend graph, the one below that is our plot interval. So this thing has its own built-in timer that tells it how often to update. And this timer, this plot interval, specifies how long that is. So this trend graph will currently update every 5 seconds. For particularly large applications, you may want to minimize that just to keep the CPU usage down, but play around with it and see what works for you. Okay, and then you'll see below that there's a chart theme. So the chart theme is basically color schemes. Blue cerulean, you've just got several different color setups, and you'll notice the color properties have all disappeared now. If you do want to specify your own color scheme, then just stick with no chart theme, and you'll be able to specify all of the colors. So I'll just talk you through what exactly each color is. You've got a trend graph color here. That's the actual color of the line that's going to be drawn. The background color here, which is the background of the graph. It's worth noting that is slightly different to these little squares in between the grids. I'll cover that in a second. Here we've got a decimal places. So this specifies how many decimal places are displayed here on probably the X and the Y axes. Probably don't want this to be too high, because otherwise you're going to get a lot of text to the left of the graph. It's just not going to look pretty. Okay, on to more colors. We've got the label color, so this is the x-axis. Now the label, well, you'll see if I change it, let's make this a nice green, is these numbers along the axes. The axis color itself, which is the color of the line. And you've got the title, so let's go with a nice orange, which is the time label here. And then the shade. So this here, you'll see, is every other column. It's an interesting one, but it allows you to alternate the colors. It's just a generic graphing property. Sorry about that. And then you'll notice you've got the tick count here as well. So this effectively specifies how many of these divisions are displayed. Obviously. Okay, and there you have it. So let's just take a couple of those off, back to 5. And then moving on to the y-axis here, you've got your min and max range. So for power, on the emulator, our inputs are going to be between 0 and 10 volts. Timesing two of those together, that gives us a range of between 0 and 100 watts that we could potentially have. So I'm just going to change the range of my graph to that. Okay, back to the colors. Similarly on this side, you've got label, which is your numbers here. You don't have a title this side. You've got an axis color this side as well. It's got a nice light blue, and a shade color, which is the other interval. So this could be a nice light green. Yeah, and then you've got several other standard properties: opacity, transform origin, rotation clockwise, scale, layer, etc., visibility. All of these behave exactly the same as on other visual elements. Okay, what I'm going to do now is reduce the time taken for a log here, because at the moment it's set to every minute, which I'm not going to wait a minute to update my graph. I just want to do 5 seconds for now, just so I can give you an example of it running. Also going to change some of these colours back. So let's just put you back to white for now, as well as you. Okay, so there we go. Let's just try running that. Okay, and our graph is starting off on the bottom there. I'm just going to up the input on one of them and the other one slightly. Hopefully this is going to update our power to about 14 watts. So just wait for the graph to update. There you go. We've got our new reading on the graph. Okay, and if I keep increasing this, that number should go up pretty drastically. So you'll notice the graph is currently set to update every 5 seconds. There you go. And we can drop that value again. Hopefully we'll see it represented in the graph. There you go. So you can see the trend graph running there without any problems. Our average power has been updated accordingly. Yeah. So that's really all there is to the trend graph. So thank you very much for watching this PanelPilotACE tutorial video.